respect for what you're about to give. Yeah, maybe it's not just throwing somebody some food, for example, in the act of giving. You know, you take great care in respecting this other being. Yeah, so everything about the offering is heightened. That makes it a stronger karma. In the act of giving, you do it in a timely manner. You do it when it's really needed. You don't offer to wash the dishes just when they're finishing. You know, it's like you've heard them washing the dishes, and then they're nearly finishing. Oh, do you need any help in there? That's not powerful karma. Yeah. So in the case of your family or your friends, it's when they need the help the most. Well, you are there. You don't wait 10 days later. You don't do it on your schedule. It's when it's needed. Yeah. I just thought of my holy mum. You know, last year she had this accident in the aeroplane. They brought the aeroplane down, and you know she had a stroke, and I was fortunate enough to have the capacity to go and help her instantly. Like, what a virtue she offered me, this angel creature. Thank you, Mom. So at the peak of need, you do the deed at the peak of need, and this makes it a great karma. And then you make sure what you give or how you give is of no harm. You sort of ensure that that's of no harm to them or to others. The example they use in the Abhidharma is you might not give an offering of a goat to a butcher, for example. That would not be a good idea for both.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just say quickly. Like, often I'll be in the subway and then someone will come along and they're asking for money, and I never know if I should give to them because I want to give, but then I have this fear that like they're an addict or something, and then I'm going to be helping their addiction. Yeah. So I feel very conflicted.
Were you here last class?
Was I in last class?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that the same thing with like the guy turning into different things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought of that when you said that. Make sure that it's of no harm to them.
Yeah. So if you have a hint that it could be, you know, then you have to. I'll tell you what I do. There's a guy. We go to this place called Little Mr. Kiwi's. It's an organic fruit store. There's a guy on crutches outside lately in the last couple of weeks since we've been on the fast. Yeah, and he smells a little, you know. So I'm not sure if I gave him money because he's asking for money, he's going to drink it or not, you know. And he's always saying, "Can I get some money for a cup of coffee, please?" You know, I'm like, "I'll get you a cup of coffee." So every time I go in to buy the vegetables, I bought him a cup of coffee, and sometimes with a bagel or sometimes with a muffin or something. And then I can't do it to everybody. I have some doubt about whether he's going to drink it up, so you do it with the best intention. You do it visualizing them as the most beautiful opportunity to give, if you feel that it's the right thing to do. Since we're doing the 108 Lives project, we've been collecting people's money over time and building up the charge of karma with that money, and at that time I wasn't giving money to too many other people. I wasn't not generous. I wanted people to have, but I knew that I was building up the charge for this for a very specific thing, not just for my benefit, but for the benefit of all the people who gave us the money and all the people in the 108 project who were receiving the money. So you can't do everything. This is the point here. That's why you must have some kind of practice. If you understand that the world doesn't operate the way we think it operates, you have to choose A, the most powerful objects, B, the most powerful karmas, but also the ones available to you. You know, sometimes the guys on the train are these angels coming up and giving you the most perfect opportunity to engage and break some barrier in you. Sometimes I give generously, sometimes I don't. You know. Sometimes I take. No, I don't. Bad joke, Hector. Okay. The last four are the four that make the recipient or the receiver or the subject of the three spheres. Does that make sense? Yeah? Doesn't it, David? No?
Say that again.
The next list that we're doing now, so that's it, that's the three of the act of giving, or the three of the sphere of the interaction between you and the object. Huh?
Qualities, is that correct? Qualities of giving.
These are the act of giving.
Act.
This is how to increase the power for the act between you and them. Yeah? So let's simplify it again. The three spheres talk about you, the interaction between you and something else, and that something else. Does that make sense? So far we've covered all the things that you need to be if this is going to be a supercharged mega tonnage karma that's going to explode as the most beautiful bliss. If it's giving, could be anything. Yeah, could be joy, could be learning. Yeah, the three spheres apply to everything you do. You can apply three spheres to learning. You, the way in which you learn, and what you learn. Yeah, you can apply it to meditation. You, the way in which you meditate, and what you meditate on. That's it. That's what they mean. And here we're just using the example of giving because it makes sense, it gets practicality. I'm happy to review this next class. So we've covered, if we're going to do that, that's the way you interact with the world anyway. You then do something to what's seemingly outside of you, right? That's how you build karma. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. So we've covered what it takes to supercharge the you side. Now we've covered, in those three steps, how to supercharge the interaction. You do it with some kind of reverence, of respect. You do it in a timely way, time when it's really needed. Yeah. And what was the third one? You make sure it's of no harm. You just super perfect about the attitude of protecting that. It won't be of harm. It's of goodness. Okay. Now we talk about the four that will supercharge the object. In this case, when we're talking about jimpa, the giver. But if we're talking about meditation, is what we meditate on. If we talk about the act of patience, is what you're patient about. That's all. Yeah, we're talking about this now. The receiver, the object. How to increase the power by choosing that. So the first one, say drawer, says type of being. So the type of being to which you interact with. Remember, you could give to temples. You could give to. You can interact with objects all the time, right? Like you can interact with objects, or you can interact with sentient beings. And in our case, unless you've got special powers, it's humans or animals. That's it. So how do you interact with those? So what are the interactions you have with those objects? Choosing the right object to interact will heighten the karma. So in the act of giving, they say it's more powerful to give to a human than it is to an animal. It is more powerful to give to a human that's closer to coming to a realization of the ultimate nature of things, to coming to a realization of non-duality, to coming to a realization of all things, to coming to some kind of wisdom, than to give just to a normal person hanging around the street. Why would you think that's the case? They actually say it's better to give to the lowest drunk troublemaker human than to the best puppy dog. Why?
Because humans can reach it.
Because you have a capacity to reach a state of enlightenment, which therefore must then be able to help so many more beings. That's it. Reach, yeah. So it's about the biggest broad of benefit in the world, yeah? If you are having some kind of special insight that this animal is going to save the world, then obviously that animal might be, worth helping. So it's, but they say as a rule, like humans can get free of suffering, and if they can teach other beings to do that. and then it's a priority order. Obviously, it's your experience of those beings. Yeah. So that's why I'm choosing the type of being. Dukna will make an object more powerful for you if you choose the right object. Dukna. What's duk sound like?
Dog.
Duk.
Suffering?
Why do you say suffering?
I don't know, I know that.
Good. Dukkha. Dukkha.
Oh, yeah.
Suffering. Excellent. Thank you. So if a being is in great suffering, this makes it an object of heightened karma. If you see yourself attending to a being that's in great suffering, because you see yourself removing suffering, it makes it so. So it's giving to someone or something that's in obvious suffering, in great need. Yeah, it's more powerful than if you give someone who's not. Third is penpa. Say penpa. This means you've had this before. It means penpa means of high assistance. Someone who's giving you great assistance. What does this usually refer to?
Parents.
Your parents, your ma and your pa. Yeah. 114. I have way more to tell you than I thought. Someone who's giving you great assistance. So this is usually your mother or father. It could also be your siblings, the people closest to you who are caring and helping and encouraging you and freeing you from suffering. They are important to your consciousness. Observing yourself with some kind of kindness or good karma towards them will play a higher karma than if you did something to some random stranger that you'll forget in 2 minutes. The karma is around so much. So because the object is powerful, the karma is powerful in this case. Yeah? The fourth one is Yonten. Yonten. Yonten, thank you. This is giving to those of high spiritual qualities for the same reasons as you would give to a human versus a dog. So if you've seen some of the classic example they have here, if you've seen that, if you're experiencing someone that's come off a realization, if someone that's come off seeing emptiness directly, someone that's just finished a long retreat and you know they've had some kind of special insight, interacting with them, the karma, because the object is so powerful, will be supercharged because they do something with them. So choosing them is an important thing. Giving in this case to them is a good thing, but also patience towards them is a special thing. It would make the karma more powerful, and this is true from the negative karmas. Being angry towards them is also more powerful. Yeah, the object itself. And then the last concept I want to cover is the 6 points. You didn't do these, I'll do them quickly.
There's no today.
Okay, no problem. Oh, of course. That cause a karma to be committed and collected. So this is another way of supercharging. So sometimes you can commit a karma, and it was sort of like your example that you have an impulse, you've got this thing,
Yeah.
and then whether or not that's going to be committed and committed here means really nailed down in your storehouse of consciousness that will cement and create a strong seed. Yeah, so that's what collected means. So the first one is, did you mean to do it? Was it intentional? Yeah, so was it intentional? The second one, does it have a complete path of karma? Remember the four steps that you had to have? You had to identify the object. Yes, this is the person I'm going to murder. Yeah, it is my ex-boss. Yeah, you had to have strong intention. I really want to knock him down. You see yourself undertaking the deed, like I'm doing it, and then you see yourself completing the deed. He's dead. So does it have the 4 steps of karma? It was a complete path of karma. So that's the second of the 6 things that make a karma definitely strong and chunky in your consciousness, and it will come out. Third one is you have no regrets about it. There's not even an inkling of regret. And you know, this is like you're in court and someone says, You know, you've murdered somebody. Do you regret it at all? And if you sit there and go, absolutely not, I would have done it again, they'd give you life. And if you said, oh, I repent, it was so bad, I wish I hadn't, they'd probably not give you life. It's similar here. Yeah. Fourth is you didn't do an antidote. Ha. You didn't do anything to counter that. And this is a beautiful part in the Abhidharma where I think, or actually I think this is not Abhidharma, I take that back, Majjhimika presentation, where they're hinting at antidote. What the hell's an antidote? It's the first time antidote comes up, right? You didn't do something to counter it. So they're coming to the point where they're saying there is something you can do to counter. So it's a beautiful entry into next week's class, which is, let's look at the storehouse of negativity that we have, find the biggest solid karma in there and destroy the bastard. So it doesn't cause you any obstructions, any hurt, any blockage from getting enlightened. Yeah. So if you've not done an antidote, then that will cause the karma to stay cemented. Fifth one is you're glad you did it. Like there's some kind of joy. For the example of having murdered somebody, you sit there, you imagine this moment where you're observing the scene of the crime, you observe you've completed the deed, and you sit there and go, this is what I meant to do, totally did it, you deserved it, aha, I'm done. Yeah? Obviously, for goodness, it would be the opposite. I completely helped those people. They wanted to be helped. We worked so hard to help them. Everybody put hours of effort in their life or whatever. You watch these people eating in the soup kitchen. You know that they don't know where the food came from. It doesn't matter. In your heart, there's deep joy. I did it. We got food to them. All of us. It's lovely. It's a nice feeling. So that's, you're glad you did it. This makes this karma deeply cemented. Yeah, and then the sixth step is actually a result that says you get it, you're gonna get it cemented now. The sixth step is like it's turning to a solid, strong, massive, powerful karma in your storehouse of karma. So that was the class. Sorry, I'm a little late. Next class is very, very important. Understanding how we're forever planting karmas, whether you understand these or not. It doesn't matter if you've got instruction on karma or not. You're planting karma. We're forever thinking, doing, or saying things. This is where your world comes from. At some point, we'll bump to that reality in your life after life continuum. Understanding the mechanics of the machine that produces your reality, getting visions into this nook and cranny of the machine is what we're doing in this course. And it's pumping out goodnesses and negativity and neutrality. Goodness and negativity and neutrality. You know, all of them fairly temporal. They come and go, some longer than others. Next class is stopping the machine that's producing the negativity. So it's really, really lovely. We'll cover the four forces. We'll look at how to short circuit a karma. And then the following class, we will review every single thing in the course with Geshe Tashi Dorje, a special Geshe from Nepal, the Umse to His Holiness the Dalai Lama for 7 years or something at Sarmai Monastery. He's here in New York for 6 months. He's going to be sitting here to answer questions as we review the entire course. So if you've got friends that are interested, it's a good summary of the first thing we covered. All I'm going through is the entire quiz. Yeah, this is on the 11th of April. Next week we cover the purification and a little bit of review. The week after we will do the entire course in one day for about an hour and a half with Geshe Tashi to answer any questions that people have. Well, I don't understand. How come a human is better than an animal? Why? Etc. etc. You can ask him anything you like. Yeah. And then I encourage everybody, because we would have the content completely fresh in your minds, I'm going to invite everybody to do the final exam and at least put it down on record that you got this knowledge in your head. That's a karma too. To see yourself on a certificate or something that says, I've completed this knowledge in this lifetime, It's very rare for Westerners, really. So get it on paper. You got the opportunity to do the final on that day. So we have next week a little bit of review. Week after, with Geshe Tashi Dorje in full monk's costume and the whole thing, we have to be extremely grateful for his presence. This guy spent a lifetime studying these things much better than I could possibly share with them. We hope to have a translator. If we don't, you'll just have to imagine that he knows everything. Or learn Tibetan in a week or two. Yeah. So I invite you to come to both classes, and for the last one, bring people that, if you think want to hear karma or whatever, a quick one day of it, it'll be a worthwhile day. Can we dedicate?
Sashi
Hoki Jushin Meton Tram Rira Ninshin Yunde Yampadi Sangye Shindu Mite Gewargi Drohin Namda Shinla Chuparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kam Ninyatayami Digokun Sunam Yeshit Soksok Shin Sunam Lejun We Dampa Kuni Toparsho. So if you still have your guru or teachers at the crown of your head as a orb of light, bring them down into the crown of your head, traveling down gently to the level of your heart. Imagine them sitting there, radiating all bliss and wisdom that you require to get enlightened this lifetime. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for teaching.